Good day. So we're going to talk about Islamic mathematics and why should we talk about this? But first of all, understanding the field of mathematics as it exists today requires knowledge of its past. This written output traces the historical development of mathematics during the Islamic mathematics as well as its contribution. Islamic Mathematics M111 Task 1 Trace the historical development of mathematics during the Islamic mathematics. Islamic mathematics flourished from the 18th to the 15th century, influencing the direction of the global mathematical development during this period. Muslim scholars made significant contribution that established the foundation for many current mathematical concepts. This advancement were rooted in the tradition of learning and scholarship that thrived in the Islamic world, particularly in certain like Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordova. Umunlad ang matematika sa mundo ng Islam na nagkaroon ng malaking impluensya sa direksyon ng pandaigdigan pag-unlad ng matematika. Sa panahong ito, nagambag ang mga scholar, which is katong isolated sa introduction, ng Muslim ng mahalagang konsepto na naging pundasyon ng maaring kasulukuyan ideya sa matematika. So the contribution of each individual contributes a lot in the modern world as of today.
The translation movement and early Islamic mathematicians from 8th to 9th century. The translation movement and early Islamic mathematicians is part of the historical development of Islamic mathematics, and this was based at Baghdad's House of Wisdom, which is a library or a research institute, and dira sila na-translate sa mathematical concepts. This school became a nexus for intellectuals from many backgrounds such as Muslims, Christians, Jews, and Zoroastrians who worked together to translate Greek, Persian, and Hindu mathematical literature into Arabic. So, daghan ang nag-help sa pag-translate ani into Arabic like the early Islamic mathematicians. So, from Greek, Persian, and Hindu, gi-translate nila ang mathematical concepts into Arabic. So, nganong Arabic? Kay ang Arabic is the common language sa mga Islamic scholars and ginaalaw sila ni para maka-access, study, and para mas ma-preserve nila ang knowledge sa earlier civilizations like Greeks, Indians, and Persians. This is not only preserved historical knowledge, but also enabled Islamic mathematicians to expand on its foundations, resulting in tremendous advances. The writings of Euclid, Archimedes, and Diophantus, among others, were supplemented with fresh contributions that combined components from several mathematical traditions. So, the reason why they have this translation movement is to foster the culture of learning, like preserving knowledge across different fields, especially sa mathematics.
I'm Sharin Salan and I will be discussing the development of algebra and number theory in 19th to 10th century. Islamic mathematicians had especially strong influence on algebra and number theory. Al-Khwarizmi's work established algebra as distinct discipline through many other builds of his legacy. Abdul Kamil Sadju or Ibn Aslam developed algebraic method and made major advances to the solutions of polynomial equations. Another noteworthy pioneers, Abdul Hassan Ahmad Ibrahim al-Uqailidasi enhanced mathematics by developing the concept of decimal fractions and applying arithmetic operations to the fractions in decimal notations to improve the computational efficiency. Islamic mathematicians made essential contributions to algebra and number theory that have influenced mathematics for centuries. Today, let's dive deeper into their individual achievements to understand their impact more comprehensively. Al-Khwarizmi is the founder of algebra. Al-Khwarizmi in 780 to 850 Christ era was a Persian mathematician who is considered the founder of algebra. His book Al-Kitab al-Mustasar fi Hasab al-Jabr war Muqabala laid out methods to systematically solve equations. Before Al-Khwarizmi's mathematics was heavily geometric, with a focus on shapes and proportions. Al-Khwarizmi's approach was different. He created a new abstract way of thinking about numbers and operations, forming this into equations.
Good day, ma'am. This is me, Marty Marte, and I am going to explain the non-Euclidean geometry. So before ta mag-start sa non-Euclidean geometry is mag-explain sa ko sa brief history niya and paano siya napunta sa Islamic world. So first is na si Proclus nga na-discover niya nga ang explanation ni Ptolemy sa fifth postulate is wrong or false. So in that night naghimo siyang sarili niyang explanation to prove nga tama ihang postulate theorem, but in the end it is false also. So unsa ang postulate 5? Postulate 5 is dili ko mag-explain about ana because this is not including in our topic. I am going to explain only in the Islamic world. So in the Western Rome is nag-start siyang collapsing, and then all books that gihimo sa mga ancient Roman mathematicians including Euclid is naa dito ang the elements nga na-appeal og sunog. But in the eastern part of Rome is nag-emerge ang Byzantine Empire, which is na-save nila ang libro ni Euclid. So ang question is nganong naabot siya sa Islamic world? Ang answer na is ang mga Islam sa Abbasid Caliph Empire is nakig-trade sa Byzantine Empire, and then with that na-appeal dito ang libro nga The Elements. So ang mga mathematicians and translator is nagwork sila 24 hours non-stop to translate the questions and unsay mga nasa sulod sa The Elements. Kailan matini algorithm, so nagka-interest po siya to solve the fifth postulate ni Euclid sa non-Euclidean geometry. So siya is, as we all know, si Al-Khwarizmi is a father of algebra and he is so interested on solving the problem. So he tried, but in the end na failed siya, or iyang gi-offer nga answer is false. So in the end, even though nga mali iya, in the end na inspired about saya si Omar Khayyam. Yes, he is a mathematician in Islamic world. He is also a wise man. He is a poet, but he is so furious to answer the fifth postulate ni Euclid. And even though he tried really hard, but in the end, again, false siya, gyapon siya. So makaana ta nga unsa man yun fifth postulate nga gina-prove sa mga mathematicians, na tinuod ba jud ni or unsa ba jud ni fifth postulate. So with that, even though nga na-failed sila duha, this spark ang na-spark diri ang mga mathematicians, Islamic mathematicians, to solve the problem. Daghang mga mathematicians nga niagi to solve it, even though naman ito'y time nga ang isa ka mathematician is i-pass down niya ang problem through the generations to generations para lang ma-answer ang question, but in the end dili jud siya ma-solve sa mga Islamic people. But unsa ay lahon na contribute about aning non-Euclidean geometry? With this, kung wala ang mga Islam, ang libro na The Elements or maski ang the non-Euclidean geometry is mawala sa tibok history if ang mga Islamic mathematicians did not preserve it very well. So with that, ang naabalik ang non-Euclidean geometry sa Europe through the Crusades. So with that, ang Crusades, tungod sa Crusades is na discover sa isa ka mathematician, and then gibalik niya sa England para makita niya ang mga perspective or mga solutions nga gitried sa mga Islamic mathematicians in the Islamic world. And that's all the explanation or oral about our non-Euclidean geometry in Islamic world. Thank you.
12th to 13th century was the time when Islam mathematics significantly influenced the development of European mathematics. One might ask why it takes too long for Europeans to adopt or learn the Islamic mathematics. Well, one can't understand the text if it was written in a non-familiar language. During that time, there was a language barrier. That is why it takes the Europeans for centuries to learn the Islamic mathematics. It was only on 12th century when the situation started to change. A lot of Arabic works were translated into Latin, and one of it was Al-Khwarizmi's treatise, Al-Jabr, which was first translated by Girard. But the more popular translation of that said treatise is by Robert of Chester in 1145, and this may be marked as the beginning of European algebra. Around 1150, the translation of Al-Jabr still continued, and the works of Al-Khwarizmi were among the popular subjects of the time. Furthermore, Al-Khwarizmi's writings, Kitab al-Hisab al-Hindi, or the Book of Indian Computation, and Kitab al-Jam wal Tafriq al-Hisab al-Hindi, or Addition and Subtraction in Indian Arithmetic, which introduced Hindu-Arabic numeral system, was popularized by European authors with their own work. An example of it was Alexandre de Villedieu, who wrote a poem titled Carmen de Algorismo. This poem described the fundamental operation on integers, used Hindu-Arabic numerals, and treated 0 as a number. Another example is Leonardo of Pisa, who played a vital role in spreading the system across Europe. In his book Liber Abbasi, he demonstrated the system's advantages over Roman numerals, and showcased its efficiency in arithmetic calculations. By the 13th century, Western merchants already utilized Hindu-Arabic numerals. It was used in Italy and spread in trading cities of southern Germany and France. Up to this date, the said system is still widely used. These examples, Hindu-Arabic numeral systems and algebra, were not the only ones or not the only works that spreaded across Europe. For sure, there were many works from Islamic mathematics that significantly influenced European mathematics.